Hello, St. Anthony first graders. My name is Mr. Scott. I'm the art teacher here at St. Anthony's. Most of you probably remember me from last year. I would come down to your kindergarten room and we would do art class in your kindergarten classroom. This year we're going to do art a little bit differently. You're going to actually work on your projects, your assignments at home, and you're going to watch a YouTube video in order to get the directions and the things that you need to know in order to complete that assignment. We're going to do the same kinds of things that we used to do when I was actually in your room. We'll do some drawing and some different kind of art things, but this time you're just working on them at home instead of in the classroom. Your scheduled art day is on Thursdays. So every Thursday, I will have a new YouTube video for you to watch. After you watch the video, you will then work on the project at home. This is how this is going to work. On Tuesdays, you come to school on Mondays and Tuesdays. On Tuesday afternoon, Mrs. Wetzel is going to send home some special art supplies for you. Sometimes that might just be a piece of paper. Sometimes it could be some other things. Whatever art supplies she sends home with you, the art supplies that I have given her to send home with you, are for your art project only. It is important that you do not use these supplies for anything else. Save them, watch the YouTube video, and then use the supplies for your art project. Don't draw anything else on the paper that I might send you, or use the supplies to make another project that you want to make, or use them for another lesson or class. These are specific for your art class, for your art assignment. So please do not use them for anything else. When I send home supplies, especially paper, I want you to do your very best to keep those supplies and the paper neat and clean. If we don't take good care of our supplies, our finished artwork may not look like we've done our personal best. It may look a little sloppy or careless. So we're going to try to keep our work and our paper as neat and clean as possible. This week, on Tuesday, Mrs. Wetzel sent home something that looked like this. This was in a folder inside your book bag. On the outside, there is a letter that just kind of tells you and Mom and Dad about how art class is going to work this year. Attached to that that letter was a piece of drawing paper, just plain white paper. You're going to need this paper in order to do our first assignment. I do not want you to roll or fold your paper. If I take my drawing paper and I roll it up like this and put it inside my book bag, it might get smashed, it might get wrinkled up. It will, when I unfold it, be all curled up. And when the paper's curled up like this, it's very hard to use. It's very hard to draw on because it won't lay flat. So I don't want you to roll it up like this. Try to keep it as flat as you can. I also don't want you to fold the paper. If I fold my drawing paper, before or after I finish my artwork, when I open it up to look at the artwork, I'm going to have these lines running through the middle of my artwork. It's not going to look as carefully done as we'd like for it to look. Not going to look quite as neat as we would like for it to look. So work really hard at keeping that paper flat and keeping it clean. So here's what I'm going to expect you to do for art class. Number 1, I'm going to expect you to watch all of the videos. Every Thursday, there will be a new YouTube video for you to watch. You'll need to watch the videos in order to get the directions or to know how to do the assignments or the projects. So it is super important that you watch every video on Thursdays. I'm going to expect you to complete all of your work. Just like Mrs. Wetzel expects you to complete all your reading jobs, all your math jobs, all your spelling jobs, I'm going to expect you to complete all of your art jobs. Okay? When you have completed your artwork or your assignment, you are going to bring it back to school on Monday. You watch the YouTube video on Thursday. You come back to school Monday. You're going to bring your completed artwork with you. You're going to put that completed artwork inside your folder. Then you're going to give the folder and your completed artwork to Mrs. Wetzel. You are not going to look for me. You're not going to turn it in to me. You're going to give it to Mrs. Wetzel, and I'm going to get it from her. She'll make sure that I get your completed work. It is very important when you finish your artwork and you're ready to put it in your folder and bring it back, that you make sure your artwork has your name on it. Sometimes I have kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and sometimes even eighth graders who spend a lot of time on their assignments. They really work hard and really work at doing their personal best on their artwork. They get all of this very nice, wonderful looking artwork finished, and they forget to put their name on it. If the artwork doesn't have your name on it, I can't give you credit for doing the assignment. I won't know who did that artwork. I won't know who tried to do their very personal best if there's no name on the back of the artwork. When we are drawing on a piece of drawing paper, we do not want to put our name great big across the front. We want people to really notice our artwork, to really notice our drawing. We want them to look at our drawing. If we have our name great big across the front of our paper, it's distracting, and people might look more at our name than they do our artwork. And we want them to look at the artwork and think about our artwork and then figure out who made it. So we're not going to put our name across the front of our artwork. We're going to put our name on the back of our artwork. Now, if you're going to do that before you start drawing, you just write your name on one side of the paper and do your drawing on the other side. If you do the drawing first, you'll complete your drawing and then turn it over and put your name on the back. When you're writing your name, I want you to think about using your best handwriting. Really think about making each letter as nice as you can. I want to be able to read this really easily, and you can see that I was trying to use my best handwriting, trying to make each letter carefully, spacing my letters apart so that they're easy to read. Also notice that I did not make my name great big. It's not filling the whole backside of the paper. It's just a little bit bigger than normal. It's also not very small. Sometimes if we write too small, it's hard to read your name. And sometimes it's so small I can't read it. I want to be able to turn your paper over, see your name, and be able to read your name quickly. So your best handwriting, your best job of making each letter a little bigger than normal, not filling the whole back, but not super tiny either. Easy for me to find and easy for me to read. So far, the things I'm expecting of you is to watch the video, complete all your jobs, all of your assignments, and to make sure you put your name on the back of your paper. When your artwork is finished, your name is on the back, you're going to put it back inside your folder. Some of the paper that I give you is going to be small enough that it will easily slide into the pocket of your folder. Some papers might be a little bigger and not fit into the pocket easily. If it will not go into the pocket easily, don't try to force it to go in there or try to make it go in there, because that will wrinkle up and mess up the edges of your artwork. And it won't look like you did your very personal best, trying to keep our artwork nice and clean. So if it doesn't slide in easily, we're just going to lay it inside the folder, close the folder, put the whole folder inside our book bag, and then take it out when I get to school on Monday and give it to Mrs. Wetzel. Not turning it into me, giving it to Mrs. Wetzel. So those are your expectations. Watch the videos, do the work, make sure you have your name on your work, protect your work, keep it neat and clean, and turn it back in to Mrs. Wetzel on Mondays. Okay? I'm sure you guys can all do that. Shouldn't be too hard for you to do now that you're big first graders. Okay, let's talk about our first art lesson. The first thing we're going to learn about art in first grade. We're going to talk about what artists do. Now we know that artists draw, they paint, they might make sculptures out of clay or wood, they might work with fabric or yarn. There's all sorts of kinds of things that artists make, and there's all sorts of kinds of things that artists use to make their artwork. But it doesn't matter if an artist is drawing or painting or making a sculpture or using any other material. Their main job is to tell stories. Artists and authors are alike. You learned in kindergarten that an author is a person who writes a book. Authors use words to tell their stories. Artists use pictures or designs or their artwork to tell stories. So really, the job of an artist and the job of an author are the same. Their main job is to tell stories. For your first assignment, you're going to use your drawing paper that you got on Tuesday to show me a story. You're going to be an artist, and your job is to tell a story. Here are some ideas for your stories, and you can pick one of these to do. You don't have to try to do all of them. Just pick one story to tell me. I want to get to know you, so your story should help me find something out about you. Help me know you better. You're telling me something about yourself. Maybe you could tell me a story about your family. Do you have any brothers and sisters? You could tell me about your mom or your dad, your grandparents, grandma, grandpa, or your cousins, aunts, or uncles. If you have a pet, you could tell me a story about your pet. Or maybe you would like to have a pet that you don't have, and you could tell me a story about the pet that you wish you had. You could tell me about your house. Where do you live? Show me a story about your house. You could tell me a story about what you look like. Are you a boy or a girl? Do you have long hair, short hair? What color is your hair? Do you wear glasses? What is your favorite outfit? There's lots of things that you could use to tell me a story about yourself. You might tell me what you like to do. Maybe you love to play soccer, so your story could be about you playing soccer. Maybe you like to go to the park, so you could write a story or draw a story about going to the park. Maybe you like to swim. Whatever. You could choose something that you like to do and make your story about that. When you make your story, I want you to draw the story. Sometimes in kindergarten, and even this year in first grade, sometimes Mrs. Wetzel may have you draw a picture and then have you put words on it. So she may have you draw a picture of yourself and then write your name by it. Or she may have you draw a dog and write the word dog by it. Or draw a flower and write the word flower by it. That's called labeling. I don't want you to use words or label the things in your story picture. I want to see if you can tell the whole story just by drawing a picture. Don't use any words. We're going to let the authors use words, and we're going to use pictures. So we're not labeling or writing words on our story. Our story is just a drawing, a picture. Okay? So you're going to make sure you draw your story on the piece of paper that I sent home that was in your book bag, and then you're going to put it in your folder. You can use just a regular pencil for your whole story if you like. If you like drawing just with a pencil, I'm sure you can find a pencil at home. There's probably a pencil in your book bag, in your pencil bag or pencil box. And if you want to use that pencil, that's fine. You could do the whole story with your pencil. If there are crayons in your book bag, or if you have crayons at home, you could use crayons for your story. That would be fine. If you have markers at home or in your book bag, you could use markers on your story. If you have colored pencils, you could use colored pencils. You could also use a combination of things. Maybe you want to do markers and colored pencils together. Maybe you want to use markers and crayons together, or markers and colored pencils together. Maybe you want to draw your story with the pencil first and then go back and add color. Think about last year in kindergarten when we did drawings. We tried to fill our whole page with color. We tried to think about using the whole paper. We didn't just draw a little tiny thing in the paper and then leave all the rest of the paper white. We tried to fill up the whole page. I want you to think about your story and make a background fill the whole paper. We talked last year about how we don't see blue sky at the top, a big white space, and then green grass at the bottom. We talked about how it looks like the sky comes down and looks like it touches the ground, and that line is called the horizon line. If your story is outside, you might want to do that. You might want to have a horizon line and fill the sky and the grass. Use that to fill the whole paper. Some things that will help you fill the whole paper. You could think about whether your story is inside or outside. You could think about whether your story is happening in the day or at night. You could think about the weather when your story is happening. Is it sunny? Is it raining? Is it hot? Is it cold? Think about those kinds of things to make your story more interesting and to be able to fill your whole page. And if you're using color, try to fill that whole page with color. Okay? And again, we're not labeling the things in our story. We're not writing words on our picture. We're telling the whole story with just our picture. Artists use pictures. Authors use words. When you have finished your story, you're going to protect it so that it gets back to Mrs. Wetzel in good shape. I don't want you to worry about being an awesome drawer right now. All I want you to really worry about is doing your personal best on this story. I'm not looking for perfect pictures of kids. I'm not looking for perfect pictures of dogs. I'm just looking to see that you do your very best. It's okay if the pencil doesn't do exactly what you thought you wanted it to do, or if you color something the wrong color, or something doesn't turn out just exactly the way that you want it to be. That's okay. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for you to do your very personal best to try to keep this paper as neat and clean as you can. So when you have your name on the back, you've finished your story, you're going to place that story back inside your folder, close the folder, slide it in your book bag, and bring it back to Mrs. Wetzel. So you might be wondering what you need to do to make sure you get a good grade on this assignment, or that you get all the credit for doing this assignment. What am I expecting you to be able to do for this assignment? In order to get a good grade, you need to watch the video, which you're already doing. You need to take good care of your supplies. Complete your story drawing. Put it in your folder as neatly and as carefully as you can, and return it to Mrs. Wetzel when you come to school on Monday. Doesn't matter if you're an awesome drawer or if drawing is really hard for you. That's okay. Just give me your personal best. Video, complete the assignment, do your personal best, bring it back to school on Monday. I hope you have fun telling me a story using pictures. I hope you enjoy your drawing time. And I'm looking forward to being able to look at your stories and learn about you. And I hope to see you soon in person. But until then, I'll see you again next Friday on YouTube. Enjoy your drawing.